G'day YouTube, my name's Lance, welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report, look, around 13 to 24, and they say there's going to be a little bit of cloud today, but so far it's nice and sunny. When the cloud comes and goes in the Bundy Bear's Shed here, it gets all that creaking and groaning in the background, and that's not my knees. Can be some days, but it's just a shed expanding and contracting, and the ideal situation for Bundy Bear's Shed for filming is either all sun or all cloud, but when it comes in a little bit patchy, well, yeah, I have the microphone here, and I have the software, the Tascam 70D, I think it might be, to take the background sound away, and it seems to work pretty well. But so far it's nice and sunny. I've had to slide the front door across a little bit so I don't get the morning sun belting in here and yeah, flaring out the camera sort of thing. So yeah, so it should be a good day. Nice day for working anyway. Getting a little bit done. Now the shed out the back, over the weekend I got the loader going, and I've levelled it all out, and I was going to put a bit of gravel in and make it a little bit higher, but then Jude says, well, you know, you're only parking tractors in with rubber tyres on them, they'll sit up anyway. So we are going to get quite a bit of earthworks done around Bundy Bear's Shed a little bit later on, so we'll probably wait till then to do that. Then, so in the meantime, I'm starting to put a bit of gear out there, and oh look, it's an interesting thing. The TEF20 I showed last week, it's in there now, and I'll probably get the forklift in, and as it has no rear tyres, the rims are sitting in the dirt, so I'll probably lift that up and just put a couple of sleepers under the rims themselves, just to keep them from rusting away. But it's up the back. I've got the John Deere 1640 in there. I'll go for a snoop around with the camera in a little while, and we'll have a bit of a look at what's going on. A couple of things, like I've shifted half the junk, and a lot of those manuals I bought up from down south I've still got in a big box. I've sorted them into piles of workshop manual, operators books, parts books, so I do have to actually deal with that. I'm just sitting on that for, yeah, who knows why. But I am thinking of buying a tin cupboard, and some of the manuals that I'd like to keep, I think the best place to put them, instead of putting them around the back in open shelving, is to get a nice tin cupboard and put them in, and yeah, keep the weather and everything off them, and the sun and the dirt and the whole thing, and it seems to keep books a little bit better. So I may do that over the next few weeks. We'll just see what comes of it all. See how far we get with it. Pardon me. I've got rid of the cold, coughs, cold, sore holes, all gone. That's good. Spring's here, so I've even got my shorts and safety thongs on today. And yeah, it is nice to get out in shorts again for a little while. Yeah, get a bit of tan happening with the legs. That couldn't hurt anyway. So yeah, today's going to be a puddle around in the shed day. I got the Howard reduction tractor out yesterday, and the fuel tank on that tractor is just full of shit, and I hooked it all up to try and get it running to take it for a drive, and I couldn't get 20 feet without it blocking up again. So I do have a new fuel tank there and a new fuel tap, and I thought, oh, I'll put that on. But when I started looking at the tractor yesterday, when I was shifting it out, I thought, oh, bugger it. Yeah, I just didn't feel like dealing with it. Yeah, the front axle bolster's been patched over time, but I do have one here to go on it. And the more I looked, the more jobs I saw, and I thought, well, if you start this, you're going to have to go through with it a bit, and you haven't really got time. So I ended up just putting it out the back there. I'll take my ute round later. I've got an ARB air compressor in my ute for doing tyres and things, so the tyres do need to pump up. I should have pumped them up going out the door, but the Joe McPem inflator was up the other shed, and I was too lazy to go and get it. So anyway, that worked out all right. It was Father's Day yesterday in Australia, and so yesterday morning I come and had a fiddle for a little while, but we had the Tim and Adele, my kids, and Mum come over, and we just had a family day buggering around, and the fun for the afternoon with their little grandkids is daughter Adele's had this slingshot, and someone reckoned they were illegal, but I don't know, she just bought it from the shop, and like years ago, and we've kept it in the beer fridge in one of the like the egg compartment, I suppose you'd call it, for years, because they reckon you keep it in the fridge and the rubber lasts longer. It's got a rubber like on a fishing spear gun. It's a bloody strong little thing, and plastic handle, moulded handle with steel frame for the thing, and she's a cracker. She'd sting if you someone flicked a rock on your ass with it. And so last time the kids were out here buggering around a bit, Adele had a couple of old macadamia nuts, so she took it out the back and she's flinging them across the dam. So, well, as soon as the kids got there this time, it was, "Honey Del, can we go and play with that slingshot?" So off they went down to the dam, and it was quite interesting. They had everything's got to be a competition, you know. Like my young bloke, and then his daughter Adele, his daughter Ariana, and Adele, my daughter, his sister. She doesn't seem competitive much, but with Tim and Ariana, it's who can win this and who can win that, and so on the Saturday, that's another story. But anyway, there's a float in the dam, and it's a 20-litre oil can, a plastic 20-litre oil can, and that holds the float up, holds the foot valve up off the bottom of the dam, and so they had a competition going. Picking up rocks, and they had a few macadamia nuts they wanted to get rid of, old stale ones, and so the competition was on. And so right across the dam, you had to stand where the driveway is, and right across the dam and over the other side, without touching the water, was 1 point. Yet if you lined it up in the middle and you hit the float for the pump, that was 5 points. So yeah, Tim hit the float. I come a bee's dick off it, and so 5 points for that, and it was quite hard to hit, but anyway, the competition was on. Tim won, I think, and so that was just a bit of fun. On Saturday, well, there's a bit of a story about the float on the dam, and when the dam was dry, the sun got to it and all that, and the float, the foot valve just sat down on the bottom, and anyway, as the dam filled up, we had a plastic 20-litre oil can there, all sealed up, and stainless steel wired to the gauze in the foot valve, but the gauze was only plastic, and what I think must have happened is because it sat in the sun for that 3 years, it probably went brittle, and anyway, long story short is the little gauze on the end of the foot valve broke and dropped the foot valve onto the bottom, and Jude wanted some water, so I cranked the pump up, and I thought, this bloody pump's not working. But it pumps up. We pump up to a tank that's 20 foot off the ground, an old Southern Cross tank stand, and then that gravity feeds. It's a 1,000-gallon tank, and it gravity feeds down to a system I put in underground mains and that for around the home garden. And we used to have the toilets running on it too, but over the time the toilet ones, they're just not working. Must have a blockage or not enough pressure nowadays to hold the valves open or something, but that doesn't work, so we use our normal tank water there now. But Judy wanted some water around the garden, so cranked the pump up, waited, about 3 hours it wouldn't fill this thing up, and I thought, it must have shit in it or something, and that's when we knew that the foot valve had hit the bottom, and without the gauze on the front, must have filled up with rubbish. So Saturday morning's job, Jude wanted a bit of water, so I said, right, I'll go and get this foot valve out. So I pulled the foot valve out. Well, you should have seen, I was just looking around to see if there's any rocks here still from it on the vise, but you've never seen a foot valve clogged up with gravel so much in your life. I pulled it off and cleaned it out and flushed and banged, and it took me ages because I had an extra check valve there. So the only gauze I had was an old brass foot valve, no spring on it, just a gravitational foot valve, and it was actually off a pump jack on a windmill, and it was the thing that went way down the bottom and down the bore. So So what I've done now, I cut up a little 10-litre oil pot and I've strapped the foot valve into that and cut a heap of holes around it. So if something happens and that does hit the gravel, the foot valve won't suck the dirt down the bottom. It'll still be 3 or 4 inches off the bottom, and with all the water being able to come in, it should be okay. So yeah, I got that done, got that all adjusted, and then a new float, and so yeah, the pump's going. I've cleaned the spark plug and got it running, and so we've got the top tank full, and yeah, Jude's happy. She's got water up there for her ducks, and she's got some baby ducks she's buggering around with at the moment, and so Jude's got water there. So it took us a bit of buggering around on Saturday to get all that sorted out, you know, pull the whole thing out, and then last time that happened, the vanes on the centrifugal pump, they all filled up with little rocks, and I had to actually get in there with a bit of welding wire and poke them all out. So this is an Aussie brand pump, this one, and we've had it on the dam for like years. It's been a long time. And so after the last experience, I thought I better pull the end off the pump and get all the gravel out. Well, on the Aussie pump, it's not like that. It's just got this open impeller, and look, a lot better idea. So I pulled it apart for nothing, but cleaned it all up and never seized all the bolts and all that sort of stuff. This spray stuff here, that nickel anti-seize, geez, just having that in an aerosol is just good stuff. I've ordered from CRC. They have a copper one, a copper-based one as well, and I've ordered some of that, and it's a little bit away yet. They won't have it till December, but I just thought sometimes, you know, remember the old fellas used to put copper coat on head gaskets and things like that, the brush on stuff. So I had this idea that maybe the copper never sees on an old head gasket if we couldn't buy one. Might have been a good idea. So who knows? It may work like that, and it may not. Who knows? When I take it for a little walk, you'll see I've got the Howard reduction tractor out in the barn, out in the new lean-to here. So at the moment I've got the John Deere 1640 with the front end loader. It's out of the weather finally. The front hub seal and all that, I ordered all the parts through Sparex last week, so that'll be coming up. I'm not going to leave that leaking for years, says Lance. So we'll see. But I've got all the bearings and seals and all that organised now to reseal that whole front diff, both sides, because I thought, well, if one's going, the other one might be far away. And so the Howard reduction tractor was the first cab off the rank to go in front of the TF20. You may remember Grumpy Dave's 35 that I ended up with. Now it's an FE35, it's got no serial number tag on it. It's a 58 model, and I don't know, I don't think it's a gold one. It's a, I'd have to have a look at some of the numbers, but yeah, the numbers on the gearbox. But looking at it this morning when I'm having a bit of a fiddle, it's got gold on the inlet manifold, but who knows. But the story with that tractor, and we're going to do a video this morning on look, just while it's there, while it's going out, I'm going to do a quick video. And that's the tractor that I really think that those tubes in the head are gone on it. Now, the story with the tractor is that Grumpy Dave had it. It was hard starting, so he put an engine kit in it. And he bought, I had an argument with him. He was shitty and I was up him, and he was up me back. But I did the fuel injection pump on it for him, resealed it for him, and sent it back home. And he's winding the tractor, and look, this is getting back a few years, and I just brought it all back when I was bugging around with it this morning, and resealed the pump, and yeah, he had the head off and all that, and anyway, next thing I got my mate downtown saying, "Oh, Grumpy Dave's up you buggered up his injection pump," and I said, "What? I didn't know nothing about that." He didn't come and see me, and I said, "What's going on?" "Oh, he reckons it was good until you touched it, now it's up the shit." And I said, "Oh, okay." So anyway, goes over to see him, and I says, "What's going on? Here you bloody got the shits." And with this pump, he says, "Yeah, that effing pump you done up." He says, no good since you done it up. You must have stuffed it up, and bloody, he's upped me a bit. So I said, well, what's the problem? Okay, I must have a dicky battery. Yeah, that battery come off the charger, but it only lasted like 15 minutes in the camera, so something's going on. So new battery, but yeah, back to Grumpy Dave. He was saying, yeah, ever since I got that bloody injection pump done off you, he said, I'll bleed her up, get the tractor running. Next time I go to start it, it won't bloody start. And he says, after a while, he says, you run it for 5 or 10 minutes and it just stops on me. And he said, never used to do that before. And I said, well, yeah, give us a look. So anyway, I bled the tractor out and got it going. And yeah, we run it for 5 or 10 minutes and probably not long anyway. And you could hear it starting to run rough. And I said, oh, that's got air in it, Dave. He says, yeah, that's what bloody didn't used to do that. And so I said, so the tractor stopped and I said, well, he was blaming the pump, but I said, that air, I said, if I crack that injector, that bleeder on the pump now, I bet it's full of air. You've got a dicky fitting somewhere. And he said, nah, bullshit, same one. So anyway, I opened her up, bled her out, pump, got the air out, cracked the injector line, boom, away she went, and same thing again. And she started running rough, so I stopped it, and so I didn't have to bleed it. And I said, I bet that pump's full of air. So bled it out, got her going again. And anyway, some of the fittings are still on there to this day. And he had in the fuel tap where it's a UNF thing, I think he had a BSP half through screwed into that, then come out with a bit of hose, and he had a joiner for BSP one end, JIC the other, and just screwed in, and the shittiest, bodgiest setup you ever saw. And so I got up him a bit. I said, yeah, that's not my fault. It's your fittings here. So I grabbed a couple out and just Loctited them just to seal them. You know, a bit of 515, seal them, let it set, and away we went. Bloody thing runs fine now. So, but I had about 4 people saying, oh, Grumpy Dave's up you stuffed his injection pump up. And I said, what? I did what? And here he is right next door. Didn't come and see you, just downtown. Everyone knew I stuffed his pump up. So when I was getting up him, I fixed it and got up him. I said, you better go and tell so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so I didn't root your pump up, eh? And he's just had a silly look. But anyway, that's fine. But I've ended up with the tractor in my shed. And a bit of a deal. He sold it to Ross that works for me. Then I did a deal with Ross and I ended up with it. So they put a new engine kit in, and his mate Arden, they put an engine kit in. His mate come to help him with it because Dave's had a stroke and he's got a bit of a mental issues, but he's also finds it hard with mobility, so he hobbles around with a walking stick, and so Arden come to help him with it, and they did it up, put the new engine kit through, and because it used to get water into the sump, and anyway, they did it up, got it running, let it sit, water into the sump. So he's up old Arden then, so that bloody dickhead stuffed my engine up. So Arden felt bad, so he come and they stripped the engine again, went right through the liners, the whole thing, because they're easy to get out being dry liners, and so Arden went right through the thing again, had a look, cleaned it up, put it back, same problem. So Dave's going crook about shitbox head gaskets and everything's no good. And so he got another head gasket. And so he thought, I'll do it himself. So he put another head gasket on. I think he had Kenny from down the road help him because, doing the lifting and that. And same thing, bloody dickheads, don't know what they're doing. And so he's... Anyway, there's a bloke in town, Laurie Ross was his name, and he ex-massive mechanic and a bit of a freelance fella, and so Dave went and bought a new head gasket and got on to Laurie. Laurie, I need you to come and do this bloody head gasket. These dickheads don't know what they're doing, and bloody rah. So Laurie comes, pulls the head gasket off, has a look, can't find anything wrong, put it all down, retension it, get it all done, start him up, warm him up, retention, do the whole thing. A week later, all the water's in the sump again. So Dave cracked the shits at that time, and this tractor, he can't afford to fix it, and he's not interested in fixing it and buggering around like that. So So as time goes by, yeah, it just got parked up. Ross bought it, then I bought it off Ross. And I had it out the front there, and with 20 pound in the cooling system, I couldn't make it make any water. But I think a lot of it, you know, the oil went milky, but he reckons the dipstick, you know, got full of water. So I think he put some chemi-weld in it at some stage. And anyway, I cleaned it out because I thought he hadn't done the sump, hadn't cleaned the sump out properly and all that. So when I first got it, you may remember it was in a stew, I'm not sure which one, and I had it running out the front, and it had 2 or 3 oil changes, and yeah, I got all the water out of it. So while I've got it out there now, what's brought me up to all this, while it's out now, the other week I actually dropped the plug a bit, and I got a couple of drops of coolant out. And I thought, oh shit, you know, I might have a leak there still. So getting it out, I've just dipped the oil. The oil's spot on the mark, which is where I had it. So any coolant in there, it's very little. And this morning, when I'm setting up to do this little video I'm doing, I dropped the sump plug again and got my hand under it, and I got about, look, a dessert spoon maybe of water out of the bottom. And I know it was clean, you know, with 2 or 3 oil changes, and I pulled the screen and wiped it all up inside and mucked around so to make sure. So I'm thinking those little tubes in the head, like everyone's been missing them, no one knows about them. So I do have an engine kit here for one of those, so I probably should. I was just looking at it before, and when they put the tank back on, they haven't put the bolts in the back. Who knows where they are? Grumpy Dave, he must have had another tractor there. There's only 3 rim bolts. He's knocked off all the others for something or other. So yeah, you'd want to be careful with this old tractor and just pull things apart and put it back together yourself. So I am thinking of popping that head off just for a quick look and pull those tubes, put new tubes, pop the head back on, and I think that would be the problem. That's all I can think of, because if the head gasket, it's had 3 head gaskets, the liners, there's nothing wrong with the block, the liners, the whole bit looks good. They did the engine, didn't do any Welsh plugs by the look of it, but I don't think that'd be the problem. So anyway, I'm thinking of doing that, but the reason we're going to be filming on that old girl today is I know Dave got the starter motor done up on that, and I remember at the time he was poling, he was going crook, because a new starter was, oh no, I remember it cost him $320 or $360 to get the starter reconditioned, and a new starter, he thought he was going to go and get it in, you know, get it done up for like $50 or $100, and anyway they did it up and hit him up, and it was so close to being a new starter price. And I said, well, you know, we could have given you an aftermarket one with warranty and all that for that. But anyway, so I have got a starter motor here off a Ford 4000, a brand spanking one I got through Sparex, and I want to test the theory of how, or show, make a little standalone video on how fast it cranks with this good starter on. I've got the battery on the charger now to make sure it's on full smoke, and I've got my photo tachometer here. There's another 28G carby from West Australia to do. So yeah, I have my photo tachometer. So on the front nut on the cranking pulley, I've got a piece of reflective tape, so this will read. And what I'm going to do is put a battery in, make sure it's on top line. I'm going to see how fast it cranks with this starter and I know this starter was done up at some stage. So how much it's wound and have they got it hot or anything, I have no idea, but I know it works. So we actually drove the tractor in there. So I'm going to put the battery on the lead, same battery, same lead, same everything, stop her out so it doesn't start. Being a 23C, probably won't anyway. But yeah, stop her out, and we're going to see how fast it cranks. And then I'm going to get this brand new Ford 4000 starter motor. I'm going to drill the holes out to 7/16. I'm going to put that on, hook the same battery, same leads, same everything up, hit the key, and we're going to see the difference. A lot of people say it works. You ask people, have you actually done it? Doesn't seem like it. So we're going to do it today. And yeah, just see the difference while the tractor's here. It's just something I've been meaning to do. I had the starter here to do, and while it's halfway out the door, coming out the door, I've pumped the tyres up, and yeah, there was they did the engine up and didn't even clean the air cleaner out. So anyway, that's another story. And so we're going to see what difference a Ford starter motor makes on a 23C. So that's a video I'm going to do today. I do have to clean the shop up a bit. Running amok off grid, YouTube channel from up Mount Perry. They're coming in next Saturday morning. They're bringing their cameras, and we're going to do a little bit of a collaboration, and we're going to pull the starter off their 65. They've got a 65 industrial, and it's a straight looking old tractor. Got a couple of grills missing and things like that, but it is a pretty straight looking old tractor. I think I should buy it off him one day. Yeah. It's handy for them. But yeah, so they're coming on Saturday, so I'll have to tidy the bench up a bit just so give myself a bit of room. Oh, another interesting thing. On this photo tachometer, in the back it has these Duracell batteries. And so this is a thing I got off Banggood ages ago. And look, it works okay, it works good. But see the white plastic? There's a story there. It's shit plastic. But anyway, I got this morning, I got it out, and I'd left the batteries in there, which I shouldn't have done, but I did. And there was quite a bit of corrosion in there, and I thought, oh Christ, you know, sometimes you get a bit of corrosion, she's all over Red Rover, you can't get it clean again. So I was wondering how to clean it up, and anyway, my eye went to this stuff that CRC gave me. That yeah, battery maintenance stuff, and I read on that it neutralises corrosion. Yeah, penetrates, loosens and neutralises corrosion. Neutralises all acid corrosion deposits. And I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. So with all the batteries and that out, and rusty springs and just that bloody green shit out of the battery from a battery leaking, I sprayed this stuff and cleaned it up. Well, it just foamed up and cleaned it up, and I thought, oh, it wasn't 100%, so I give it a second shot, and good as gold. Yeah, after the first one, I wasn't getting a good connection on the batteries. I couldn't actually get it to work. So I hit it up again, and it all foamed up in the back there, and yeah, it worked well. Like it's working now. I can. Yep, we have a reading there now. Look at that. It's even reflecting off the silver upstairs. So anyway, that cleaned that up. I got that working, and it had a bit of that stuff on it, and I thought, oh, just down at my foot I had a bit of brake cleaner. I just went, give it a quick wipe, and yeah, the plastic's not workshop friendly anyway. But that was I did a review on that ages ago from Banggood, and look, it's worked fine for years, but I haven't used it for some time. But yeah, that CRC battery maintenance in the back there, it cleaned it up and foamed up, and yeah, made it. It's neutralised everything. So I will take the batteries out though. But yeah, I was surprised. Now this here, I've been trying to do my mate Ronnie's carby, and crikey. And yeah, this is a regulator air dryer I've had on the back wall for running the bead blasters and things like that. And so it has a rock filter in here, another like a foam filter in there, and you can put some decandescent in there, you know, to dry the air. But I'm not having trouble with moisture just with this. I keep this drained, but trying to work on Ronnie's carby, and my bead blaster wouldn't work. So I'd pull the trigger and it sort of and just disappear all the time. So I couldn't work out what was going on for a bit, but it turned out to be up in the regulator here. And I pulled it apart the other evening and went right through it. Could not find a thing wrong, nothing sticking, everything come free, so I lubed it up a little bit and put it back, and same thing, and over again, same thing, and I just couldn't get it to bloody sort out. So what I did in the end, I don't need regulated pressure, flat out's fine. I pulled the guts out of there, I filled that up with bloody epoxy resin, just epoxy like JB Weld, and so that sits there. Where this screw, it was leaking around there, so I've just jammed it up. So now she's on full smoke. Seems to be working well. I've had it plugged in for ages, and that's going good. So I should be able to get Ronnie's carby cleaned this week too, because last week I was trying to get it done, and yeah, I just couldn't win a trick with it. I couldn't get it bead blasted, and I couldn't get it clean to put it together. So now with that back up on the wall there this morning, I should be able to clean Ronnie's carby and start assembling. And I've got this other carby just came in on Friday afternoon, a little 24T, so it'll be getting the treatment. Hopefully this week. Now I can actually clean parts, so we'll see how we go. So the 65 engine, I got the little video on the oil pump done last week. I am going to try and just pop the injector lines and all that on, and I'm going to use the, oh look, I haven't got it on the bench here, but I've actually seen trouble with injectors that people pull the injector lines off to do the head, they get the nozzles done or do something, and they start an engine and it's got a miss in it, and you say, "Did you clean the injector lines?" "Oh yeah," and they give it a bit of a blow. But I found over the years, if you've had them sitting around open, which most times they are, I like to get them in the parts washer and flow washer through them, the liquid through them. But the brake clean, CRC brake clean force, that's what I'm going to use on these. And I'm going to just blow them right through, because I've actually seen messy work over the years, and people say, "Oh yeah, they're clean," and they're just a bit too lazy to take the time and clean them properly. And a little bit of shit out of that pipe goes in and gets under your nozzle, you got this miss. And oh, those bloody injectors, that bloke didn't do me injectors right, one's jammed open. Well, they don't jam open unless there's shit in them, normally. So we'll just see. So today, the only video I'm planning on doing on that engine is probably put the injection pipes and the clamps and show you how I do that. And the other thing is, a lot of people put the injectors in, bolt them down tight, bolt the pump up, and just do the injector lines, give them a twist and a push. Well, I don't do that. I leave the injectors loose. I get the pipe on both ends and try and seat everything in nicely, and get the clamps on and hold them in place. So once I do that, I have a new exhaust manifold for it. I'll put that on and button that up. I was going to roll it over and put the sump and that on, but I just want to do the video on this 23C starter today, and if that's all I get done, well, that's fine, and I will try and get the 65 done. But I do have to have a clean up here, just so we got a bit of working room. Rob and Nick are bringing their camera, so we're going to need room for 2 tripods. I'll be filming too, no doubt, and we'll go from there. So look, that's about it for the chat. I will go handheld shortly, and we'll go for a bit of a run around, and I'll take you past Grumpy Dave's tractor and just show you that in the stew. But yeah, just an old tractor like that. Oh, there's another 35. There's 2 more 35s over there, and one of them we call Huey. We bought off a bloke called Hugh, and it had no starter on it, but with a bit of a tow around the paddock, it started and ran, but probably buggered. He got it as payment for a job one time, and it's got no starter. So if this starter works on Grumpy Dave's well, which I believe it will, the starter off Grumpy Dave's will be right to go on Huey's, and then rob Peter, pay Paul, keep it going. So we'll see how we go. So yeah, today's going to be film that, perhaps do the 65, and the rest's going to be clean up. I'm actually starting to move tractors out, and it's a good feeling to be able to get shit out of the way. I'm not sure if I can get Grumpy Dave, oh not Grumpy Dave's, Plasma Dave's shelving down yet, but anyway, we'll work something out. Okay, thanks for dropping by everybody. We'll go handheld, go for a walk around, look after yourselves, and we'll catch you all next week, eh? Oh, there's a little something I've set up through the week, and I've got a bigger screen sitting over on my bench here for where I do all the recording, and that's this little fella there, that's my voice. You can see on the screen there on one single track. Well, there's two tracks, a left and a right, but we're only using one microphone. And we're using the lithium battery backups. We have a spare charged up microphone there. The phone's on the charge and it's got a Wi-Fi hotspot going to the laptop over here so I can actually see what I'm doing on this bench. So anyway, that's a good thing. I find it handy. I've got manuals there. I can look stuff up, and I actually check my emails and all that up the back here often of a Monday. So this used to be up in the little hoochie in my machine shop, but I've decided to bring it down here and leave it here now, and I have my other laptop in the bag here if I need it. So yeah, that phone bag or that camera bag, it sits over the back on that there, just to make it look tidier. But anyway, we'll come up over here, over all the junk. And this is Grumpy Dave's old tractor, and you can see I've put the little dot on the crank there. Now, he didn't have a key switch in it. He used to join these two wires together, so that's a Quality Tractor Parts starter off an FE35 I had at home here. I think the number's 1108. So that's going to be our key, our starter. That's the original starter, and yeah, look, I don't know, the bonnet's pretty straight on it. It's not too bad. It's got an alternator that's got no wires to anywhere on it. There's the injection pump, and these are the fittings and that, and like, yeah, he had double up fittings, and oh, he had a bloody mess down there, so that's okay. But yeah, the screws are all left out of here, and so the terminals, oh no, they'll do for our test if we use the same terminals. This is even though it has a tacho drive there and the place for the tacho, it is a single clutch model, so it's not the deluxe, it's a standard tractor. And we'll come around the back here. It's got some pretty new stabiliser bars. I think I'll knock them off and put them on the 148 for the moment. The mudguards are rubbish, but that's all right. And it has the flip seat on it, so that's something interesting. But the tag's missing, and I said to him, you know where the tag is? Nah, he didn't know. But the date down there, hop out of the light, Lance. Whoop, too much. So 28/8, so August 58. So yeah, I'm just not sure. There might be a number on the starter there somewhere. So there's the date over the starter, 27/8/58. So, and yeah, it's got a bit of gold up on the manifold there, but like he's painted it up, and he's, who'd know? Who would know? 8/58's probably a, yeah, probably not a gold one, I don't think. But anyway, I'll have a look later on and see. But yeah, we're going to have a bit of a play. The air cleaner, they did the engine up, and here's the air cleaner that I got. Then if you pull that out, so she wouldn't have lasted long. But there is a new steering wheel on it, so yeah, there's no gauge, there's no key switch, no nothing like that. Now, you don't want everything. So anyway, that's what we're doing with that little fella. That's part of the shed clean up. The kids' motorbikes, like the grandkids come out and they hardly ever want to ride them, and oh no, I haven't got the wrong class, something like that. So anyway, I bought them brand new a couple of years ago, and we were talking about it yesterday, and we're going to sell them. They're not interested enough to keep going. Christmas is coming up. We got the training wheels for one. They're $2,600 new. They're electric start 50s. They're not the Pee-wee 50. They're the next one up. Yeah, electric start, 3-speed box, centrifugal clutch. Yeah, great little motorbikes, but they just don't use them. And every time I have to, well, it's just a job now to keep them going. I drain the fuel and keep them running. So they're going to come up for sale come Christmas time. $2,000 each. They've just had their 20-hour services, 20 or 25-hour services. They've just had them, and they've run around the paddock about twice since then. So yeah, they're as good as new. But anyway, we won't worry. We'll just we'll put them out there, and probably on Facebook Marketplace, and someone will probably do alright for Christmas, I'd reckon. Anyway, we'll come around here, and so there's the old TEF20. We actually got it out of trouble. See the wheels sitting in the damp patch there. We're actually going to pop the forks under that, and either put a stand under it or a couple of bits of wood or something. The Howard reduction tractor, I've got the bonnet off that. I was going to play with it, and I thought, oh, if you start that, Lance, you'll bloody never get it done. But that tractor, you know, when I went and bought it, the only fuel tank we could use was a Coke bottle, and the battery was flat, and he said, oh, I'll just start it by the crank handle. He flicked it over and away it went. So yeah, that's all right, that's good. And yeah, the John Deere 1640, he's got a home now. So yeah, so he's got a home out of the weather, which is a good thing. I've been wanting to do that for years, but I've been raking up all the dirt and trying to level things out, and I've got the mower and a few things over there out of the way. Coming around, there's a leftover sand and gravel mix, so that's sort of out of the way for me. I can mow around it, no worries, and go and get some when I want it, so that'll work out alright. But yeah, look, the whole paddock's looking pretty good. A little bit of rain. The orchard's looking okay. I picked the last of the oranges the other day, so the macadamias have a lot of flowers. The mango trees here, look at the flowers on the mangoes. So yeah, looking good. The trouble is you get nice flowers like this, and mangoes need a bit of wind for the pollen to drop down. I believe they don't use bees. Well, that's what I've been told, so I'm no expert. And yeah, but a bit of breeze and the pollen flows down, so by the look of that we get a good crop. But sometimes you get rain and the rain washes all the pollen out and you get nothing. So, but it's looking okay. And oh, while we're doing the happy wander, I may as well take you and show you some macadamia nut flowers. So through here, this is the maca tree, and yeah, they're flowers. All these are macadamia flowers. They need bees, but the whole tree, she's just chockers. There's a little waspy dandelion thing, but yeah, it doesn't matter which branch you look at. We've got flowers everywhere, so we're hoping we're going to get a good crop. The citrus are all flowering, being spring, so that one looks like it needs a bit of a spray, bit of curly leaf. And this is our real old macadamia tree, little old thing. And yeah, there's a lot of nuts and that up in there that haven't fallen yet. They reckon they're no good for dogs and that, but old Sansa comes over and helps herself. So I don't know. But anyway, yeah, look, paddock's looking nice. I better stop walking around with the camera and get and do some stuff, eh?